Whether you're new to gardening or an old green thumb, you would have almost certainly bought a few punnets of veggie seedlings from your local garden centre. But have you ever stopped to think where the seedlings came from? I'm visiting one of Australia's largest wholesale production nurseries, located in the northern suburbs of Perth, to find out what it takes to get veggie seedlings out to the market. I'm being shown around by keen gardener and marketing and sales manager, Carole Fudge. What's the scale of veggie production here?
Well, vegetables is about 3/4 of our production. We produce just short of 20 million seedlings a year. That's purely for the home gardener. That's not for the commercial vegetable growers in the country. And that's just for West Australia.
When COVID-19 kicked in and we saw garden centres get really busy, did that have a big impact on demand?
Had a huge impact in seedling demand. We went from wondering if we were going to have to close the business to suddenly producing 5 times what we were producing before per week. That was just in vegetables, so we actually had to stop producing flowers to make room for the extra vegetables that we were producing. And we're still not sure to this day where they all went. I hope they all worked for the home gardener, because we've never produced that many ever before.
In the production warehouse, a team is working with a number of automated colleagues, pumping out big numbers. And it all starts with the seed.
We've got tomato beefsteak seeds in here today, which is one of my personal favourites. Really good grower, this one. And back in the day, these little single seeds would have to be individually placed into every cell. Nowadays, we have a machine that will do 1 tray in the time that it would have taken us to do perhaps 3 cells. So it speeds the process up. It means that the process is done evenly, and we get really good results through this, and we can produce more seedlings.
This machine sows seeds into small cell trays called plugs, and they are for plants that don't mind being transplanted, like tomato and chilli. There are 512 cells to a tray, which means a lot of plants can get started at once, and then they move to larger punnets once they're up and growing. The cell trays are seeded, then top-dressed with vermiculite to cover the seed. Then the machine waters them, all under the watchful eye of nursery staff. For plants that prefer not to be transplanted so young, there's a bigger machine.
So Josh, this machine is a different to the other machine in that we sow directly into the punnets. On this machine we produce things like lettuce, beetroot, beans, peas, that sort of thing.
And how many punnets can it pump out per hour?
This machine can pump out 10,000 punnets per hour.
Ooh, that's serious production.
Serious production, and it was machines like this that enabled us to respond to that increase in demand, particularly during COVID in April.
At the start of the production line, the punnet trays are assembled and filled with seed raising mix. Then a large rolling dibber makes way for the seeds, which is sifted into place. Production staff are on hand to fill any gaps. Once planted, watered and stacked, the punnets move into the germination room, along with the plug trays, where they get brought to life in a warm, humid environment. The direct sown plants will then head out to the large nursery, but the plugs will transfer to a separate nursery for a few more weeks. After that, they're ready to be transplanted into punnets.
So Josh, now the babies are all grown. Our 512 plug trays are ready to be transplanted into the punnets, and then they can go and join the other punnets outside in the nursery. Now, these little babies are tiny little seedlings, and they need to be planted into the punnet. And if I was to sit here and do it, it would probably take me at least a day to do that 1 tray. So we have a machine that can do that for us these days. And this baby can pump out 4,000 seedling punnets in an hour, which is about 40,000 seedlings. It's a pretty impressive machine. It actually can take a photograph and recognise the plants. If there's a miss or a hole in the tray, it will miss that seedling, and we can set the size of the plant so that if it's too small, we don't pick that plant. So we get our quality control from this.
Certainly makes light work of it.
Oh, it enables us to produce the volume that the market needs now. There are so many gardeners out there.
Now this is the real deal when it comes to modern automation. The speed and accuracy of the machine is mesmerising to watch. Production staff still play an important role cleaning up the punnets, filling any gaps and pushing large volumes of punnets out into the main nursery for a few more weeks of growing, tended to by staff and watered by an automated boom. Before long, they're ready for the home gardener.
So Josh, this is the end of the journey. The seedlings are all ready to go out, ready for the home gardeners.
So how long from seed to sale?
8 to 12 weeks, depends on the variety, the time of the year, but usually around about that time.
It must be so satisfying to see these seedlings heading out the door going to gardeners.
Oh, absolutely, but it's not as satisfying as the bowl of salad that they will have when they grow their own vegetables.
Indeed. So the next time you grab a punnet of seedlings from your local garden centre, have a think about the amazing journey these plants have already been on before they settle in at your place.